try this. Yes, good sound.
Andy, we turn that up on the mixer. On the mixer.
It's the second button from the right. Sounds nice. This is so nice.
Yeah, that was made with, it started with Dominic Maker, who chopped some piano vocal improvisation and turned it into like a loop. I find the loop quite unsatisfying in general.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get away from it all the time. It's like it's chasing me up the stairs and I'm trying to run away. And that's kind of what happened there. Is I probably just got sick of listening to the same thing go around. And when you're not like a band playing in a room, it's like it's hard to create movement and composition, basically.
Yeah. When you're working with other people, you get the surprises from the kind of accidents that happen between them, and then people noticing those and taking it somewhere. But with this, you have to usually you have to cold-bloodedly make a decision. Things are now going to change. Yeah. So it tends to be a bit steppy, this kind of music, or completely linear.
Just by virtue of the process.
That was a lovely song.
Thank you.
Shall we hear another one?
Yeah.
Where are my wings? Eloding, eloding, eloding. Where are my wings? Eloding, eloding, eloding. Over my food, exposing, exposing, exposing.
Singing there.
Oh, that's me.
This one as well. It's lovely.
Thanks.
That's a fantastic ending on that, where it goes into the
Little release, tension release.
Well, it's sort of like the track has started to melt. You know, starting to go into a kind of rubbery mode.
I'll send you it after this. You once accused me of using the arsehole chord.
That little-known chord.
Could you explain what the arsehole chord is?
There's a way of resolving things in songs which always disappoints me. You know, you have a sort of setup, and then you think, no, don't go to that one, don't go to that one, and it goes to that one, and you think, oh God.
It was in my most popular song, in Retrograde.
This is why you should never listen to my advice if you're trying to make popular songs.
You went, that chord, that's the arsehole chord. and I thought, have I done something heinous?
Yeah.
So it starts with a G major chord, which is the nice.
We like that. We like that. G major.
Yeah. And I moved the top one of the bottom G in the right hand. I moved it up to an A flat.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what that does.
And
yeah,
that made it a kind of diminished over a G bass.
Yes.
And that was when your head cocked like a dog listening to a high pitch. You just went like that, and you said that's the arsehole chord. You know, the song doesn't work without it.
Yeah.
I've tried it without it because obviously, you know, it impacted me at that moment, and it didn't work.
I'm sorry that I sent you down.
Years of pain. Therapist office.
How much did it cost you in therapy?
20 grand.
I'm sorry about that. Well, I'll make it up to you one day. No, but songwriters, I really think they often think, oh, it's all majors. I better put in a minor. You think, fucking why?
Yeah.
You don't have to put sugar in everything you cook, or salt or whatever. I used to say ban all minor chords just to annoy people, just to make them think differently about what they were doing.
Is there an Oblique Strategies card that has that on it?
No, I don't think so. That is disturbing.
I was actually saying, like, standing here going, I think this one was a mistake. I think I shouldn't have played this one.
No. I think it's disturbingly brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's the modernest piece of music I've heard for a long time.
Thank you.
I really, really love the collage of unexpected elements in that, and the combination of harshness and sweetness. That's unusual to hear those things together.
The vocals have this very strange effect that we did with the Eurorack thing, where they go like this, and it doesn't work at all if you haven't got the perfect like stereo balance. So basically the vocals were just going,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I kind of would have liked you to actually hear what the lyrics were saying, but hey, it's maybe that.
It's usually the last thing I pay any attention to.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And with that road drill,
Yeah.
that's a brilliant sound.
Thank you, man.
People often work with sounds like that, but they rarely make them sound like music.
It's phonic, right?
You know,
Also, I think some of those sounds, if they repeat in exactly the same way, it can kind of hurt the listenability, hurt the replay value. And so that sound ding, 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 is going through a lot of this song, but it's a long modular synth jam where I'm slightly adjusting it all the way through the gate time. So sometimes it's da, 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 and sometimes it's da, 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 and stuff like that. Those things I think help maybe.
That's why live performances are more interesting than loop.
Exactly.
You know, because even when people are trying to play the same thing, they don't play it exactly the same. Well, you know, I was very excited about that last one, so I wouldn't mind hearing more in that direction.
Okay, cool. Let's do Big Hammer then. Yeah.
That's a good start. Where did that vocal come from?
The Ragga Twins.
It's fucking brilliant.
It's great, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's so kind of determinedly monotonal. I won't shift the fucking note, whatever you fucking do to me.
Yeah.
pretty amazing. So, I mean, how do you instruct them to get a vocal like that? What do you?
Oh no,
what do you say to them?
that was a sample. There's actually more vocals in the a cappella, but I just liked hearing the same vocals.
Is that actually a loop? I didn't hear it as a loop.
Right. So I think there's enough lyrics in it that you don't internalize it as a loop. And it's also slightly, I think what helps is it's slightly out of time.
They're ahead of the beat. They want to get there faster. You know?
Yeah, right.
So there's this kind of clinging on by your fingernails feeling to it.
Probably don't need to listen to any more music. I mean, that feels like the record in a nutshell. There's a few more ambient bits, but I mean, you listen to ambient music a lot, so yeah, we don't need to listen to that. Have you ever felt insecure about your music?
Yeah,
in any way?
very, very often.
Really?
Yeah, quite often. I mean, radically insecure sometimes, of thinking, is any of it worth doing? In the mid-'70s, when I started making what we might now call ambient music, it had such a bad reception from critics in England. They really, really fucking hated it. And I became an adjective. So the word Eno-esque meant pathetic and wimpy and indecisive and not at all punk. You know, this was in the era of punk. And I was really very dispirited by that. I mean, you shouldn't be so dispirited by critics, but I was. I just thought, I couldn't understand why anybody would hate it so much.
It's funny that the thing that also that they chose to do was to mock or emasculate. You know, it's like that in some way masculinity is tied to how aggressive your music is,
yes,
or how
yes.
loud and abrasive your music is, as if masculinity is by nature aggressive and brash.
Yeah.
As time's gone on, and I think you've been a part of this, is that the music that men make has widened in scope as to what is accepted as being masculine.
Yeah, what emotions men are allowed to have.
Exactly, and I think people who do that in fashion, people who do that in music, I think they're all very important. To me, that's a really noble and impactful thing. Beyond the music, I don't know if you've ever considered that as part of your legacy, but that's definitely important to people like me who've kind of come up in a time where, you know, I was, even singing as a kid was looked upon as an effeminate thing to do, and I just I didn't really understand that. But I also never really particularly identified with gender, or I didn't really sort of see the big deal, really.
The other thing that art does is synchronizes us. It gives us ways of having something in common, I think. Anyway, sorry about the arsehole chord.
No, it's funny. I loved it. It really made me laugh, honestly. It's become a story that I tell people.
There'll now be somebody who will base their whole career on using only arsehole chords. Is that called jazz?